Heart beats fast, colors and promise.
Hi, welcome back to Malory Towers. Last term with Daryl's Adventures. Chapter 2. Arrivals, old and new. Daryl and Sally went up the steps into the big hall. Let's go up to our study, said Daryl. We can dump our things there and we have a look around. They went up to the small, cozy room they shared between them. The sixth formers were allowed to have these studies, one to every two girls, and both Sally and Daryl loved their small room. They had put on a bright rug that Mrs. Rivers had given them, and each had a favorite picture on the walls, and a few agreements on the mantelpiece, mostly china or wooden horses and dogs. I wonder who'll have this room next term, said Daryl, going to the window looking out. It's one of the nicest. Quite the nicest, said Sally, sinking down one of the small armchairs. I suppose one of the fifth formers will have it. Lucky things. The sixth formers had a common room of their own as well as studies. In the common room was a radio, of course, a library, and a various cupboards and shelves for the use of the girls. It looked out over the sea and was full of air and light and sun. The girls loved it. Better go down and report it to Martin, said Daryl, when they had unpacked their night bags and set out. When they had unpacked at 2 o'clock 3 or 4 new agreements, and Daryl had put a little label cloth into a drawer, which she had brought back to use that term. It would look nice if they had given a tea party, as they often did. Got your health certificates? Asked Sally. I wonder if Iron has got hers. She has remembered it faithfully for the last 3 or 4 terms. I'd love her to forget it just this last time. Daryl laughed. Iron's health certificate was a standing joke in school. I've got Felicity's certificate with mine, she said. I'd better give it to her. Come on, let's go down. They went down and found Martin, who was standing in the middle of a mob of girls. They were handing out health certificates to her, and the case of lower forms handing over their terms pocket money too. A voice greeted Daryl and Sally. Hello, here we are again. Iron, said Daryl at Sally at once. Iron grinned at them. She looked very little different from when Daryl had seen her the first time 6 years back, older and taller, but still the same old, untidy scrad brain. But her looks flattered her. Aaron was a genius and brilliant at maths. It was only in the ordinary things that he was a featherhead. Aaron, called a mud who has been despair over the girls' health certificates almost every term. Am I to associate you this term because you're forgetting your certificate again, or you have consented to remember it? Here you are, Martin, said Iron, and handed an envelope to her. She winked at Daryl and Sally. Martin opened it. Out fell a photograph of Iron in a swimming costume. Iron, this is a photograph, said Martin, annoyed. Oh, sorry, Martin. Wrong envelope, said Iron, and handed her another. Martin tore it open and glared at Iron. Is this a joke? This is a dog's license. Gosh, said Iron, so that's where old Rover's license went. Sorry, Martin, this must be the right envelope. Everyone was giggling. Alyssa had now joined the mob round Martin. Her bright eyes enjoyed the joke. Martin opened the third envelope. She began to laugh. It was a cleverly drawn picture of herself scolding Iron for forgetting her health certificate. Belinda, Iron's friend, had drawn it too, and the two of them had pushed it through the third envelope for a joke. I shall keep this as a memento of you, Iron, said Martin. I shall be pinned up in my room as a warning to all the girls who have bad memories. And now, what about the real thing, please? The real thing was produced at last, and Martin pronounced herself satisfied. I suppose you had to keep up the tradition of losing your certificate for the last time, she smiled. Now, June, where's yours? And you, Joe? Felicity came up and Daryl gave her a certificate to hand in. She went off with Alyssa and Sally to see who was back. I bet that's Bill, said Daryl suddenly as she caught the sound of horses' hoofs up the drive. I wonder how many brothers are with her this time. Wilma, Bill for short, had 7 brothers, all of whom were mad on horses. Some of them complained her school to each term, which always caused a great sensation. The girls ran to the window to see. Her, said Sally, but I suppose that means another one gone into the army or into a job. Look, here's Cassandra too. She must have come with Bill on merry legs, her little horse. And there's Gillen, said Alyssa with malice in her voice. How many fun fairs have seen between Gillen and her mother. Let's feast our eye on this one. It'll be the fast. But Gillen was on the guard now. Too often had the girls eliminated her weeping pharaohs. She stepped out of the car looking rather solemn, but very defiant. She kissed her mother and Miss Winter, her old governess, and wouldn't let them be silly over her. But she didn't kiss her father goodbye. He called after her, "Goodbye, Gillen." "Goodbye," said Gillen in such a hard voice that the girls looked at one another in surprise. "There's been a road," said Sally. "I expect her father's ticked off her again, and silly nonsense. It's a jolly good thing for God and I married that there's one sensible person in her family." Gillen's mother was now dabbling her eyes with her handkerchief. The car swung around and went down to the drive and disappeared. Gillen came into the room behind the others. "Hello," she said. "Had good holes?" "Hello, Gillen," said Daryl. "Did you?" "Fair," said Gillen. "My father was an awful institutions, though." The others were nothing. Gillen could never understand it was just decent to run down your parents in public. "Mother had fixed up me to go to the Switzerland to a simply marvelous finishing school," said Gillen. "Frightfully expensive. Oh, the best people sent the girls there. Lady Jane Trenner's girl going there, and the same old Gillen," thought Daryl and Sally, feeling sick, considered snobbish, silly. They turned away, feeling that nothing in the world would ever teach Gillen to be an ordinary, dense, kindly girl. Gillen didn't in the least mind talking to people's backs. She went on, and then when it was all fixed, Dad said it was too expensive, and he said it was nonsense and I owed to get a job. "A job," he said. "I don't think you ought to tell us all this," said Daryl suddenly. "I'm sure your father would hate it." "I don't care if he would or not," said Gillen. "He's tired to spoil everything, but I told him what I thought of him. I got my own way. I'm going." Sally looked at Daryl and Alyssa. This is Gillen's last term. She had spent 6 years at Molly's house and had many sharp lessons. Yet it seemed as she had learned nothing of value at all. She probably never will now, thought Daryl. It's too late. She walked out of the room with Sally and Alyssa, all of them disgusted. Gillen scolded after them restfully. People so often walked out of her and never could stop them. Just as I was going to tell them one of the things that I said to Dad, thought Gillen. I'm glad hardly I say goodbye to him. It's only I'm his daughter, and he treats me like that. Well, now he knows that what I think of him. She was so full of self and of victory that quite forget to be mournful and homesick as she usually pretended to be. She wandered off and found little Mary Lou. A much bigger Mary Lou now, but still shy and ready to think that most people were much better and more interesting than she was. Mary Lou always listened to everyone. Gillian began to tell her again all the others. Mary Lou stared in her disgust. I don't believe you say anything like that to your father, she said. You can't be as beastly as old Dad. And little Mary Lou actually walked off with her nose in the air. Gillian suddenly began to realize that she wasn't going to tell an old popular in her last time if she wasn't very careful. When supper time came, the girls could see who was back and who wasn't. They could see the new ghosts in the tower, and they could see any new mysterious. Each tower had its own common rooms and dining rooms. North Tower, where Dara and her friends were, overlooked the sea, was supposed to be in the best tower of all. Very naturally, the girls in the other towers thought the same of theirs. Dara was sure that there would be no new girls at all in the sixth. It was weird for a new girl to come so late to Malory's house. She was very much surprised to see two new faces at the sixth form table. One girl was tall as surgery and rather mysterious, looking at her short cropped hair and big-legged feet. The other was small, beautiful maid and had small hands and feet. As soon as she spoke, Dara realized that she was French. Mademoiselle Dupont introduced the girl with one of beaming smiles. Girls, this is Suzanne. She is niece to Mademoiselle Rouja, who is in the South Tower, but there is no room for her, so she has to come to me here. She will be in the sixth form, and she must learn the language well. Suzanne? Certainement, Mademoiselle Dupont, answered Suzanne in a denominative voice. She flashed a quick look around the sixth formers with bright eyes, then she lowered them again. Dara felt a sudden liking for her. Oh, no, you must not say one word of French, you bad girl, scolded Mademoiselle. You must say certainly, not certainly meant. Certainly, roared Suzanne, and the girls laughed. Dara nudged at Sally. She's going to have fun with Mademoiselle, she said in a low voice, and we're going to have some fun with Suzanne. And chapter 2 was finished. Chapter 3 is future plans. See you next chapter.